there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa says India's forces are capable of countering China and ready to take on a two-front war. Warns Pakistan that India is capable of hitting nuclear sites across the border. President Rajnath Kovind holds talks with Ethiopian President Mulatu Teshome in Addis Ababa. Both sides discuss bilateral and multilateral issues to enhance relations between both countries. India and the European Union to hold 14th annual summit in Delhi tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take part in talks that will focus on enhancing cooperation on trade, counter-terrorism and negotiations for free trade agreement. And Catalan leaders declare that independence from Spain is just a few days away. Spanish government responds with warnings that it will not accept blackmail of any kind, asks Catalonia to return to the path of law. Top story this evening, echoing the confidence of Army Chief Bipin Rawat, Air Chief B.S. Dhanoa on Thursday reiterated that our forces were capable of countering China and ready to take on the challenge of a two-front war. Addressing a press conference on the eve of the 85th Air Force Day, the Air Chief Marshal said his force is ready for a full-spectrum operation. In a major warning to Pakistan, Air Marshal Dhanoa also said that his forces are capable of hitting nuclear sites across the border. But he added that any decision on a surgical strike involving the Air Force has to be taken by the government. The Chief of Air Staff also said that the Indian Air Force will achieve sanctioned strength of 42 fighter squadrons by 2032.
A surgical strike is a decision that has to be taken by the government of India. Indian Air Force has, like I told you, capability to carry out full spectrum of air operations. As far as Air Force is concerned, it is the ability to locate, fix and strike. That is not only with tactical nuclear weapons, it is with any target across the border. Air Force has the capability to locate, fix and strike targets across the border.
In more news, President Rajnath Kovind is in Ethiopia on the second leg of his two-nation tour to Africa. He held talks with his Ethiopian counterpart today and discussed bilateral and multilateral issues to enhance relations between the two countries. He also addressed the India-Ethiopia Business Forum on the occasion.
On a two-day official visit to the African nation of Ethiopia, President Rajnath Kovind held talks with the European President Mulatu Teshome in Addis Ababa. In the meeting, the two leaders discussed bilateral and multilateral issues that will enhance relations between the two countries. The President also addressed the India-Ethiopia Business Forum in the Ethiopian capital.
India has been a source of affordable pharmaceuticals, generic medicines and specialized health care for the people of Africa, including Ethiopia. Education and health care will remain focus areas of our engagement with Ethiopia. We have also committed to a grant assistance of $600 million that will include an India-Africa Development Fund of $100 million and an India-Africa Health Fund of $10 million.
Earlier on Wednesday, President Rajnath Kovind addressed the Indian community in Addis Ababa. He praised their contributions in Ethiopia in nation building and creating economic opportunities. He also praised them for popularizing Ayurveda and yoga. Referring to Operation Rahat that evacuated Indians from war-torn Yemen, he reiterated that the current government is the one that cares for its citizens.
To our Indian community here, I assure you that we will be there behind you to hold and support you when you need us. Be it Operation Rahat, or providing help to people in Libya or USA, we have kept our promise. Ours is a government that cares, a government that provides. With India's growing stature and recognition come greater expectations and responsibilities. We want to do more as a development partner for Ethiopia. You can be a critical connect between the two countries in this endeavor.
President Kovind is the first president to visit the country in over 45 years. India's relationship with Africa has been growing since the Indo-African Summit in 2015 in Delhi, which saw the participation of more than 40 African leaders. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
India and the European Union are working out a roadmap of cooperation for multipolarity in security and investment. At their 14th annual summit, both will discuss ways on how to improve environment of cooperation on counter-terrorism and dealing with Pakistan's terror state nexus.
India and European Union will hold their 14th annual summit on Friday in Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, European Council President Donald Franz-Joseph Tusk and President of the European Commission Jean-Claude Juncker would take part in the bilateral strategic dialogue. Both the Indian and European Union leaders will take stock of the implementation of the EU-India Agenda for Action 2020. Discussions will also focus on enhancing cooperation on counter-terrorism and maritime security. Also on the agenda will be talks on the next steps to relaunch negotiations for a free trade agreement.
India and EU are also strategic partners since 2004. The 13th India-EU Summit was held in Brussels on 30th March 2016. The 14th Summit aims to deepen the India-EU strategic partnership and advance collaboration in priority areas for India's growth and development.
After the summit, India will launch a special investment facilitation mechanism for EU investors in India. The move will facilitate removal hurdles for the EU in doing business. India's trade with EU totals $88 billion annually. It is also the largest destination for Indian exports. For the last 17 years, EU-based companies have invested around $83 billion, which is almost 24% of the total inflows in that period. India wants to increase the scope for EU investment further for its flagship Make in India mission.
At a time when America is openly criticizing Pakistan for its involvement in the acts of terrorism, European Union is almost silent. Instead, Pakistan and European Union are planning to go in 5 years cooperation agreement from the next year. It will be interesting to see that how India persuades European Union not to encourage Pakistan in a way that encourages terrorism against India. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Raj Thakur in Delhi.
The Election Commission has said that it would be logistically equipped by September 2018 to hold simultaneous polls for Lok Sabha and the assemblies. In fact, the announcement by the poll panel came days after it issued a formal direction that paper trail machines would be used in all future elections where polls are held using EVMs. Speaking in Bhopal, Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat said that in response to the centre's query on what it would require for becoming capable to hold simultaneous polls, the panel asked for funds to purchase new EVMs and VVPAT machines. The poll panel also said that it has already placed the order for purchase of new EVMs and VVPATs after receiving funds from the centre. He said that the poll body would get 40 lakh VVPAT machines by September 2018. Our correspondent Panchanan Mishra in fact spoke to the Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat on the issue, and here's what he had to say.
हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए निर्वाचन आयुक्त हैं O.P. रावत जी। रावत जी, ये बताएं कि लोकसभा और विधानसभा के चुनाव एक साथ कराना क्या ये फिजिबल है और इसको क्या निर्वाचन आयोग इसको सहमति देता है?
फिजिबल अकॉर्डिंग टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और लॉ अभी तो नहीं है, जब तक नेसेसरी अमेंडमेंट उसमें नहीं हो जाएंगे। लेकिन जहाँ तक इलेक्शन कमीशन के द्वारा चुनाव कराने का संबंध है, हम लोगों का एक ही फैक्टर इसमें कंस्ट्रेंट था, वो है ईवीएम की संख्या। दोनों के चुनाव एक साथ कराने पे डबल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन लगेंगी, लोकसभा का एक सेट और विधानसभा का एक सेट। तो करीब 40 लाख ईवीएम और वीवीपैट, क्योंकि अब हर चुनाव वीवीपैट के साथ होना है, तो 40 लाख मशीनों की ज़रूरत है। तो इसके बारे में जब पहली बार हम लोगों से पूछा गया इलेक्शन कमीशन से कि अगर ये साइमल्टेनियसली चुनाव हो तो इसमें क्या होना चाहिए, तो कमीशन ने यही बताया कि अगर पर्याप्त संख्या में ईवीएम वीवीपैट हमारे पास होते हैं तो फिर हम इसको कराने में सक्षम होंगे लॉजिस्टिकली।
लास्ट में जो चुनाव हुए थे, उत्तर प्रदेश का भी था, उसके साथ चुनाव थे, तो उसमें सबसे बड़ा जो एक बात आई विश्वसनीयता को लेकर उठी थी। चुनाव आयोग ने उसको बखूबी सिद्ध किया था कि इसमें विश्वसनीयता में कोई कमी नहीं है। वीवीपैट की बात हुई कि वीवीपैट ज़रूरी हो गया, तो क्या अब उसके बाद से सारा आवंटन हो गया है और मशीनें और जितना जो फंड का आवंटन था वो हो चुका है, और उसके लिए कितना तैयार हैं आप?
जी हाँ, वीवीपैट का पूरा आवंटन प्राप्त हो गया और उसके आधार पर ऑर्डर प्लेस हो गए और उसका बनना भी शुरू हो गया, डिलीवरी भी चालू हो गई, तो वी आर वेल प्लेस्ड फॉर दैट।
In more national news, the Gujarat High Court on Thursday rejected Zakia Jafri's petition challenging a clean chit by a Supreme Court monitored SIT to the state's top politicians and bureaucrats in the 2002 post-Godhra riots. The court, in fact, also did not accept Jafri's allegation of a larger conspiracy behind the riots. Her husband, Ehsan Jafri, a Congress leader, was one of the 69 people killed by rioters who attacked Gulbarg Society in Ahmedabad on the 28th of February in 2002. The petition filed by Zakia Jafri and the NGO Citizen for Justice and Peace alleged that the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi had turned a blind eye to the violence and had sought a criminal trial against the PM and 58 others. The High Court's Justice Sonia Kokani, while rejecting Jafri's allegations, said that she can move higher forums or the Supreme Court against today's ruling. Jafri's lawyer claimed that the verdict was another setback for his client, who alleged that people involved in the massacre were being allowed to get away.
Honorable Court held that the High Court does not believe the case of the revisionist so far the larger conspiracy is concerned. Secondly, there is no scope for remanding back to the trial court for the further hearing. And third, the right of the victims are kept open in the appellate jurisdiction, as the victims have also preferred the appeals before this Honorable High Court of Gujarat.
Gujarat High Court has partly allowed the revision filed by Zakia Jafri seeking quashment of the order of learned magistrate giving clean chit. We filed revision in High Court. Revision has been partly allowed by saying that the order of the magistrate is illegal to the extent of having no powers of investigation or ordering further investigation.
U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis says that India and the U.S. are working to turn big words into pragmatic realities. Describing India as a force for stability in South Asia, Mattis said that the India-U.S. political relationship can be made more fruitful. He added that he was optimistic about the possibility as he could see both sides working together. Speaking at a congressional hearing on Afghanistan, Mattis said India and the U.S. now have a strategic convergence of two natural partners, the two largest democracies in the world. Mattis also said that India had an outsized role to play in the region because of its size. U.S. Defense Secretary had met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval during his visit to India last week. The BJP's three-day Jan Raksha Yatra on Thursday reached Pinnarai, the native village of Kerala Chief Minister Pinnarai Vijayan. The three-day foot march that began on Tuesday is being led by party state head K. Rajashekharan. However, BJP National President Amit Shah skipped the Yatra today. Most shops remain closed when the Yatra reached Pinnarai. The BJP is holding the three-day-long campaign in Kerala's Kannur to boost morale of the workers ahead of the 2019 general election.
क्षेत्र ऐसा है कि जब से वो 14 महीने में सरकार में आए हैं, हमारे चार कार्यकर्ताओं के परिवार के सदस्यों की हत्या हो गई है। कहीं न कहीं हत्यारों का संरक्षण मिलता है सरकार के माध्यम से। और मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा, लोकतंत्र में लोकतंत्र की रक्षा होनी चाहिए और लोकतंत्र में हर राजनीतिक पार्टियों को काम करने का अधिकार होना चाहिए। यात्रा की शुरुआत राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने किया था। कल योगी जी आए थे, योगी आदित्यनाथ जी थे। कई राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्री भी आने वाले हैं और उसके साथ साथ केंद्रीय मंत्री आने वाले में है। पूरे देश के 11 करोड़ कार्यकर्ता भारतीय जनता पार्टी के केरल के यूनिट के साथ में हैं।
Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh is on a two-day visit to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. During his visit, the Home Minister will launch various development projects in the Union territory. He's also scheduled to lay the foundation stone of shipping projects at the Marine Dockyard on Thursday. On Friday, Rajnath Singh will lay the foundation stone of various national highway projects at Diglipur and Uttara Batarang Bridge, the Humphrey Street in the Andaman Islands. And here are more national news updates in Nationwide. RJD Chief Lalu Prasad is being questioned by the CBI in connection with alleged irregularities in giving the maintenance contract for 2 IRCTC hotels to a private firm. The contracts were given when Lalu was the Railways Minister. Lalu had earlier skipped 3 CBI summons, seeking more time due to prior engagements. Addressing people in his Lok Sabha constituency today, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi criticized Narendra Modi's Make in India initiative. He said the government had failed as India produces 450 jobs every day, whereas China's daily output is 50,000 jobs. Further, he said that the country was facing 2 main problems, agricultural crisis and youth employment, which the Prime Minister should be focusing on. Former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav was today re-elected unopposed as the national president of the Samajwadi Party for a 5-year term. The party national executive met here for the 10th convention and elected the 44-year-old for another term. The executive members also amended the party constitution to make the term of president 5 years from the present 3 years. Maharashtra Navnirman Sena President Raj Thackeray addressed a rally to demand better facilities for Mumbai commuters after last week's Elphinstone stampede. He warned that the next protest will not be as peaceful. The Mumbai police had earlier denied him permission to hold the rally from Metro Theatre to Churchgate. The Forbes list of the richest Indians was topped by Mukesh Ambani for the 10th year in a row. Mukesh Ambani holds a staggering 2.47 lakh crores in net worth and is also one of the top 5 richest people in Asia. The magazine mentioned that Mukesh Ambani saw his wealth increase by 67% from last year. There was a 26% increase in the aggregate wealth of the top 100 richest people. A quick break here. Up next, international news.
In India, you could get dengue several times because there are 4 viruses of dengue, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This 3-in-1 test actually picks up your dengue fever from day 1 of fever. But even if you ever had dengue fever in your life, like you are perfectly healthy now, if I take a sample from out, I can tell you if you ever encountered dengue. This test now has become a world leader. It has a global presence. It goes to other countries.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Naveen Khanna, Senior Scientist, ICGEB, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you some news from Spain, which is facing a political as well as a constitutional crisis. Catalan leaders have declared that independence from Spain is just a matter of a few days away, although the Spanish government has warned that it will not accept blackmail of any kind. It has asked Catalan leaders to return to the path of law.
The Spanish government warned Catalan leaders to return to the path of law before any negotiation on independence. In a televised statement, the Deputy Prime Minister said Spain won't accept blackmail of any kind after Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont indicated that independence could be declared next week.
Es un dirigente contra la ley, contra las instituciones, contra Europa, contra la mayoría de los catalanes que ayer vieron y recibieron el mensaje del rey como un bálsamo frente a tanta incertidumbre y frente a tanto desasosiego. Y en lugar de atender la llamada a la moderación, a la cordura, a la convivencia democrática que todos los españoles apreciamos ayer en el mensaje de Su Majestad el Rey,
Santa Maria said Puigdemont was going against the law, adding that he was completely detached from reality.
Que no solo es un dirigente que está en contra de la ley, sino que está absolutamente fuera de la realidad. Causa sonrojo que Puigdemont le recuerde al rey sus obligaciones constitucionales cuando estamos precisamente aquí, porque el señor Puigdemont ha olvidado todas las suyas.
The Catalan leader repeated his call for mediation with the Spanish government in order to reach a conclusion.
Per això reitero el que ja vaig dir dilluns. Aquest moment demana mediació. Hem rebut diverses propostes en aquestes darreres hores i en rebrem més. totes elles coneixen de primera mà la meva disposició a emprendre un procés de mediació. Ho reiterarem tantes vegades com faci falta. Pau, diàleg i acord formen part de la cultura política del nostre poble. Tanmateix, no hem rebut mai cap resposta positiva per part de l'Estat a cap de les opcions.
As the Spanish and Catalan leaders trade barbs at each other, the residents urged for a dialogue.
Consciente del problema que teníamos y de buscarle una solución. Antes que declararla DUI. Antes, pero es que esto es un tema como un divorcio.
Se está tensionando demasiado la cuerda. Creo que es un momento que tanto el gobierno español como el gobierno catalán tienen que distensionar y tienen que hacer un esfuerzo para que todos los ciudadanos...
Tensions between Spain and the northeastern Catalonia region continue to mount days after the disputed referendum on independence. Catalan officials say a majority of those who voted on Sunday backed independence. Nearly 900 people were injured as the national police violently tried to enforce a Spanish court order suspending the vote, which the government had declared illegal. Bureau Report, Sabha TV.
The latest mass shooting in the United States has once again rekindled the debate for stricter gun laws. But ironically, the share prices for the US gun manufacturers rose significantly after the deadliest mass shooting on Sunday. US stocks closed at record high for the third day in a row and Wednesday, despite the shooting, driven by the shares rise in the gun manufacturing sector. Historical data shows that it is a common trend that shares of gun producers to rise after mass shootings due to the market fear of gun control laws being tightened. Investigators have revealed that Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock rented a hotel room in downtown Las Vegas weeks before Sunday's attack, in which 59 people were shot dead. Police also recovered nearly 50 firearms from 3 locations, nearly half of them from the hotel suite.
Paddock rented a room at the Ogden Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. This has been confirmed. Okay? Reasons that ran through Paddock's mind is unknown, but it was directly during the same time as Life is Beautiful. We have recovered evidence from that location. We don't know if it is evidence, but we have recovered items in video evidence. And I don't want to, you know what, I'm using the wrong term. Evidence is not the term. We have recovered video from there to review Mr. Paddock's actions while he was there.
While there is no evidence to indicate that the mass shooting in Las Vegas was a terrorist act, police suspect Paddock spent decades acquiring ammunition and weapons and meticulously planned the worst domestic attack in U.S. history.
We have found no evidence to this point to indicate terrorism, but this is an ongoing investigation. We're going to continue to look at all avenues. We're not closing down any doors. The best way to do an investigation, the sheriff will tell you this, I'll tell you this, is that you don't go in with assumptions. He's not going to make assumptions, as you just said. I'm not going to make assumptions. We're going in there following the facts. The facts will always lead you to your conclusion. And we hope, very much so, to be able to provide concrete information to the public.
U.S. President Donald Trump visited Las Vegas on Wednesday to meet the first responders and victims of the mass shooting in the casino city.
The mass murder that took place on Sunday night fills America's heart with grief. America is truly a nation in mourning. We pray for the recovery of the injured and those injured officers who so bravely threw themselves into danger when duty called. We stand together to help you carry your pain. Alone, we will never leave your side.
In the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, Paddock opened fire at 22,000 fans attending a country music concert. Sunday's mass shooting has once again triggered the debate on gun control laws in the country. Nearly 12,000 people have been killed in gun violence, with 273 mass shootings in 2017 alone. On an average, more than 90 Americans lose their lives to gun violence every day. Bureau Report, Rajya TV. That's it on the news at 6. Thanks for joining us.